motherfuckers came with briefcases full of money and left with suitcases full of money. And this fucking guy hit me with a left hook, man, like right here.
Break his hand.
I thought he was gonna say something smart. I was waiting for him. You wanna be like Ali when you fight this motherfucker. You try to fight him on the inside, he's gonna eat your lunchbox, man. But they try to say I had mob ties. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
They try to say I was with John Gotti's crew. So they're like, any of these guys look familiar? I'm like, come on, you guys fucking serious right now. 3 years ago, fucking on YouTube, I see him on YouTube. He's a fucking serial killer, man. He's in prison.
This episode is brought to you by That Prize Guy. Visit www.thatprizeguy.co.uk for more information on prizes. You took Mike Tyson on the miss, didn't you?
That motherfucker was 16. Damn! And my manager said, that's the future right there.
Welcome along to this week's episode of the Smith Brothers Not a Podcast. This week our guest is the legendary Buddy McGirt, Hall of Fame trainer, Hall of Fame fighter, and he's with us tonight and we're buzzing at your ear, Buddy. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks for having me, Paul. My pleasure.
Thanks. So how are you? How's been? Family okay?
Everybody's great, and yours?
Good, thank you. Can we jump in right at the deep end? November 1991, Simon Brown. Probably your best night, you think? Or one of your best nights being crowned world champion?
Yes, one of my best nights. I can't really recall much of the fight, to be honest with you, man. I was in such a fucking zone that all I know is after the fight, when they raised me up, then I realized the shit was over. No, I remember when I knocked him down, I was like, don't get up. But he got up. You know what I mean? But it was one of my best nights. But you know what I mean? The one night that I really went into a zone was when I won my first world title in 1988. Against Frankie Warren. He was the first guy to beat me. We had the rematch for the title. And that son of a bitch, man, mentally, I went into a zone that it took me 2 days to come down.
Autopilot.
It was either that or get my ass whooped because he just wouldn't stop, man. He was hitting me, and he was like, I'm short, and he was like 5'2". So he hit me on my thighs, my hips. He hit me every fucking way, man. And I was just like, I knocked him down. He got up, both his eyes closed. Just kept coming. So mentally, I just had to go to a zone that it took me a couple of days to come down, man.
What did you find was different from the first time, second time? What was you better or like tactically?
To be honest, in the first fight, I had never fought nobody like him. I was knocking everybody out. I was 30-0. I had like 27, 28 knockouts. So I went out. I said, I'm gonna knock him out, but that motherfucker had other plans. He hit me on. Listen, this fucking guy. It took me 5 rounds in the first fight to realize, hey, you got to fight back. So I started fighting back, but it was too late. But then that's the fight that made me start boxing more instead of trying to, because I was knocking everybody out. I'm like, figure I'll knock him out, but shit, he had different plans, like I said. And then I walked from the arena to the hotel. And when I got to the hotel, I told my manager, get me another fight. And he's like, what? I said, get me another fight, man. I says, that's just behind me now. It made me a better fighter, to be honest.
Yeah. Speaking on that, you said, get me another fight. Didn't you go 16-0 before you?
Yeah, before I got another title fight,
So when you lost your first world title, you went 16-0 before you got another shot, didn't you?
Yes, before I got another fight. I got injured. In between that, I ruptured my bicep tendon. And then the doctor said to me, your career's over. I was like, what? He goes, or you have to wait a year before you fight again. So I looked at my bank book. I said, shit, nigga, we got to fight. Like, next week. So it was funny, man. It's funny. Madison Square Garden was my promoter. So all their fighters were getting beat. I had a cast on. I was in rehab trying to get my shit together. Now it came down to, okay, the only one left is Buddy. So Bobby Goodman came to me and he says, Buddy, he goes, listen, we want to resign you. And we'll give you a $300,000 signing bonus. But we're going to come watch you spar and you have to throw at least one left hook. I said, no problem. So I drove to Gleason's. I had maybe $20 in my pocket. Like I was done. I said, $300,000. I said, do I get it the same day? He said, yeah. I said, cool. Man, I was a happy hooker. I threw about 100 fucking hooks, man. I was hooking my ass off. And they re-signed me. Then That was 6 months. No, that was not even 6 months after. I'm lying. That was about 4 months after. And then I fought 2 months after that. And then a year later, I won the title. All right.
How did it feel, but this obviously first time round becoming world champion, realising the dream and stuff. How was the difference second time round? Was it better, worse, or pretty similar?
The first time, I knew I was champion, but I really didn't appreciate it. The second time, I appreciated it more. Like the first time, I was like, shit, I'm champ. You know what I mean? And, I had never made that kind of money. So, I was fucking spending money like it was going out of style, man. You know what I mean? And then...
Just living the dream.
Yeah, I was living it, man. And then when Meldrick beat me for the title, then reality set in. Like, hold up, you ain't champ no more. Everyone's treating you different now. So, in those 2.5 years, it was a great experience for me. So the second time when I won the title, I learned. I got a little smarter.
You knew how to treat people around you as well, the ones who sort of went missing.
Hey, listen, man, I never forget, I was at an autograph signing, and after like the third day, I said to my brother, I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this guy following us, man? Like, this guy's following us every day. So I said, yo, man, who are you? Because I'm your security. My security. I said, who hired you? He said, your brother. I said, well, I hope my brother's paying you, because I ain't paying you, motherfucker. I don't even know who you are. You know what I mean? He goes, nah, buddy, I'm your security. Nah, dog, listen, man. I said, if somebody say boo, your ass gonna run. All right? So I don't need no security. I'm good. And but the second time, more people came around. But they came around for the wrong reasons. They came around because they saw how much money I made. So everyone came around with a handout. You know what I mean?
Would you feel like you were more mature as a person because it was second time round?
Oh, yeah,
most
definitely.
Yeah, you were aware of it more.
I didn't rush into any fights. You know what I mean? Like when I won my first title, I was like, I won in February. And then in April, I was back in camp already to fight in May. You know what I mean? Like I was anxious. But the second time, I said, I'm going to take my time. You know what I mean? I took off like about 4 months. Then I had a non-title fight. Then I defended my title. Then I had another non-title fight again. Then I defended my title. But I spaced it out. I was a little smarter the second time around.
How long would you do your camps for back then? Back in the days, there was 15 rounds, and sometime you were on the change, wasn't you? When 15 and then the 12 as well.
I would go away for like 4 weeks, because in between fights we had to go to the gym anyway. At least 4 days a week. Trainer, they wouldn't hear nothing about, I got to do this, I got to do that. Even when I was champ, I would go to the gym 3 days a week if I didn't have a fight.
It's something you've always said. I remember you saying to me in Vero Beach 15 years ago now, but same with Callum, and same with Zizzo, the fighter that I manage and you train now. It's not about being in camp and being in the gym. It's getting in the gym just to learn and just to like the old school way, like the way you always did it, and be in the gym a lot more.
I had to be there every day. Training, I wouldn't hear no excuses.
Do you think that's a big difference with this modern generation now, where they just go missing after fights?
I think that, honestly, I think that the money in the game and the promoters give the fighters too much. It's like a fighter one time, it was a few years ago, I never forget, I was reading about it. They called him and said, hey, we got to fight for you for $3 million. He goes, not enough. Not enough. Like, are you serious right now? And then promoters like, okay, we renegotiate. Back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, you don't want the $3 million? No problem. So then I'll call you and say, hey, I got to fight for $2 million. I already cut that shit down $1 million. And that's what they used to do. But the guy would be like, shit, I'll take the $2 million. But no, the first guy take the $3 million. You know what I mean? Today, these guys, nah, that's not enough money. It's like, your dog, you're never going to see that kind of money again in life. And they hold out, and then some of these promoters bow down to them, man.
Yeah, I think the old school sort of stayed in the gym, lived in the gym and worked on the craft and become better fighters all around. But I do think it also hardened them and make them tough, strong men, where I think injuries were less often back in the day to what nowadays. Fighters still got injured, but nowadays, after most fights now, fighters are hitting their hands and they're out with having treatment for injuries, because I don't think your bodies are tough because they don't live in the gym. They're not
That's true. You're 100% right. Like if we knew someone was in camp getting ready in the gym, not even say camp, getting ready for a fight, we'll go back and help them and spar with them. Guys today be like, yo, you give them how much? That's what they want to know ready. And then when they get in there, they try to kill each other. It's like, yo, dog, relax. You're trying to help the guy, not hurt him, but it's totally different now, man. I see on Instagram, I see sparring in the gym. Guys are killing each other. And that's what doesn't tell now, but 10 years from now, it's going to show.
That's one of the worries, with the sparring. It's not necessarily the fight, it's the sparring. I remember you telling me a story. I think we were in Vero Beach again, back in 2007, 2008. It was about sparring partners. He said he used to sit by the gym and some of the old sparring partners would come in new cars and go, where have you been? He'd be like, I've been sparring Ray Leonard. He'd be like, get me some of that work. Get me some of that sparring quick. Well, a lot of the top fighters back in the day, and yourself when you were the champion, you look after the sparring partners.
I had a guy, he was in camp with Tarver, and every time Tarver hit him, he'd wobble. I pull him out and put somebody else in, and then I wait a couple hours, I put him back in again. He's like, buddy, man, why the fuck you don't, why you don't let me stay? And I said, listen, man, you're getting $1,500 a week. Shut up. You know what I mean? Shut up. Take the, you know what I mean? I don't care if you do 3 rounds a week, you're getting $1,500. One, I know he needed the money. And 2, every time Tarver hit him, he was hurt. So I was like, I'm trying to save you, man. I'm trying to let you get some money. And he went home, and then he came back again. And I called his manager. I'm like, listen, I don't think he should be in camp. Don't tell me what to do with my damn fighter. Yeah. Okay. And that ended his career, man. He was never the same after that.
We've seen you in the gym when Callum's been sparring. Yeah. And sparring partners are going down, but it's mainly off the body. And all us around the ring are clapping them to get them up and give them a bit of... But you're known for being compassionate. You've been a fighter. You've been in and done it. You know what it takes, and you know exactly what it's taken out of the fighter if they're getting hurt. So you've always sort of done that, haven't you? And
yeah, because I've seen, growing up, when I was in the gym, I used to see fighters, man, just spar everybody. And they used to trip me out. It's like, say 3 years later, I see the same person. And they're not the same. Like, they know me, but I can't understand what they're saying. It's sad. It's like, and it's like, and it's not the fight, it's the sparring. That's what most of the damage is done, man.
I'm not going to name them, but I've sat with you and had a few conversations with ex-fighters, good fighters, world champions, and I can tell by listening to them now compared to what they was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I see them on the telly. Yeah. It happens, doesn't it?
I remember the same type of thing, again, without mentioning names, the wild cards, when the sparring was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it was brutal. And I remember kids going over there and they were just sitting here now saying, I sparred Manny Pacquiao, I sparred Amir Khan, I sparred Mosley, all the ones, Malignaggi, all the ones in that gym. But over the space of a year and 2 years, you just see them just absolutely, the whole, and again the speech, everything just deteriorating in him. And he's bragging, telling you he's sparring them, but he's getting used to sparring as like, and then like you say, the conversations are different 2 years later with the same person, the speech, everything.
It's sad, man. It's sad. And today you get these so-called guys who think they're trainers. I mean, and they put these guys in, and I look at them like, what are you doing, man? Oh man, this is my fighter. Yeah, but you're not the one getting hit. I mean, you're not the one that 5 years from now, this guy can have a conversation with his kids because your ass was brave with him. You know what I mean? It's sad, man.
You'll find a lot, probably 4 of us around the table are very much in agreement with that. Like, it's one of the biggest things in boxing at the moment nowadays that pisses me off and winds me up. And it's not just because I'm starting to get involved with a bit of training, like, but I've seen it for years. Brave trainers who don't really know what to do with fighters, and they're going to get kids hurt, and it's not about the fighter, it's about the trainer.
Right.
But they're the ones that are going to suffer, the fighters who take the damage.
And then eventually the fighter goes on and he's not fighting anymore. He's doing whatever he's doing, and the trainers continue on with his career. And I try to explain to some of these guys, oh, buddy, man, you too old school. No, man, I've seen it. I've seen friends of mine. I've seen guys that I fought, that I talk to sometimes. I say my prayers, man. I thank God that, that I'm able to, still do what I do.
80 pro fights.
You know what, Bud? It's like, we could sit here all day and, like I say, just keep picking your brains. The same with, like, footballer stories. They've got no end of the way and whatnot. But, like, I always wanted to ask, like, because of how high you was, like, your sparring partners, spars you've seen, who's top spars you've had, top spars you've watched, the best, you get what I mean?
I boxed
as in, like, your Leonards, or, like, just...
I boxed a guy named Steve Heron. And, he was a welterweight, but he was built like a middleweight. And we were sparring, and this fucking guy hit me with a left hook, man, like right here.
Break his hand.
I thought he was gonna say something smart. I was waiting for him. And he hit me here, man. And when he hit me, like, this whole side went numb for like 5 seconds. And my trainer was like, move. I'm like, move, motherfucker, move. I'm trying, but I was like stuck. I was stuck. I've never been hit so fucking hard. He hit me, man. I was like, motherfucker. Now, it gets better. I sparred this guy in 1982, 83. 3 years ago, fucking on YouTube. I see him on YouTube. He's a fucking serial killer, man. He's in prison.
Really?
Wow.
I said, ain't this a bitch?
Can he hit someone with that same left?
Hello? But I've never, you know what? It was like 2 weeks he was in Jersey in camp. I used to be like, I hope this guy's car breaks down or fucking something. I don't want to spar this motherfucker again. And we used to spar every day back then. And he come in the gym with his entourage, I'd be like, motherfucker. I was like, well, didn't you get stuck in traffic or something, man? And my trainers be like, get ready, kid. I'd be like, God damn. I was like this, man. He had anything else he hit me with, but that left hook, man. And he had like a herky-jerky style. So he be going here, so you don't know what to do. Boom! Oh, shit. God damn, man.
What you saying, you have right hand like you what?
I was on the subway. I kept my motherfucking hand up here, man.
Buddy, if you don't know, Buddy's got a line for everything.
Then I boxed a guy named Davey Brown. He was a featherweight. And he said, Shorty, you think you can hit me? I said, Davey, I hurt you. He said, all right, come on, get in the ring. I got in the ring. He took a quarter. He put the quarter down, and he stood on the quarter. He kept his left hand here. He goes, hey, shoot your best shit. I looked at my trainer. I said, Dominic said, go ahead. You're not going to hit him, buddy. He says, the only thing you're going to hit me with is a jab. He goes, everything else you can shove up your ass because it's not going to land. And let me tell you, that motherfucker, man. He was slipping, then he hit me. Like, fuck. Then he said, time. He lift up his foot. I'm still on the quarter. Put his foot back down. Step. Like, God damn, man. Somebody else is hitting me in this motherfucker, man. But he taught me a lesson. He taught me a valuable lesson, man. I mean, because I was knocking guys out and spun. I was like, yeah, I was 18. I was like, yeah. He said, hey, shorty, I got a trick for your ass. He beat the shit out of me. He was a featherweight.
Featherweight as well.
When you were fighting, Buddy, you had the unbelievable jab. And your motto now is, when in doubt, stick it out. And the jab's vital, the jab's key. I think we all agree on this table. And we try and see boxing in a similar way as we do in yourself. Obviously, we've learned so much off you about it. Was your jab taught to you when you were fighting to be key? Or is it something you picked up as you got better and got through the ranks?
Both, yeah. My trainer preached it when I used to hit the heavy bag, and he says it can get you out of trouble and keep you out of trouble. The choice is yours. I mean, if you don't use it, your ass is gonna get in trouble. You know what I mean? And I've learned because guys used to put the heat on me, and I close my eyes sometimes. I ain't gonna lie and throw that, and I hit a boom. I'd be like, shit, I got him. You know what I mean? I got him. So, and it helped me so much that I just say, you know what, this shit is basic, man. And then
Didn't realize it was on the hoodie.
when in doubt, stick it out. Yeah,
when
man.
in doubt, stick it
It's
out.
cold in Liverpool, everybody. Don't let nobody fool you. So my trainer used to preach it. He was an old Italian man out of Jersey named Dom Amorosa, and he used to preach the jab all the time. He goes, without the jab, you ain't shit. And then Georgie Benton and Eddie Futch told me the same thing. So, you know, at Ray Arcel, I was with him one day. He goes, buddy, I have 5 world champions, and all they had was jabs. Right hands they could shove up their ass, but their jabs was phenomenal.
You mentioned Georgie Benton. He's a big inspiration to you.
Yes, I was good friends with him. He wanted to train me when I sparred Johnny Bumpers, but he had a contract signed with Main Events. Lou Duva said, no, you can't train him. But we were good friends.
Didn't he tell you the story once about Georgie Benton, people who beat him?
Yeah, all the fighters who beat you.
Yeah, listen, I had 6 losses. 4 were to his fighters. The motherfucker had my number.
Yeah, you're telling me that.
I mean, he said, yeah, you big head motherfucker. I got your number, motherfucker. I'm like, all right, Georgie. But when Frankie Warren beat me, Georgie told me what I did wrong. So when we had the rematch at the weigh-in the morning of the fight, I said, George, he's like, what? I said, I corrected those mistakes. He looked at me, he said, fuck you, you big head motherfucker. But we were good friends though. Like, I loved him. Like, even when I fought Pernell the first time, he came in the dressing room after the fight. He said, hey, you almost ruined my masterpiece. You know what I mean? He goes, if we have a rematch, I got a trick for your ass. I said, all right, Georgie. And the rematch, he had a trick for me. He had this big trick for me. I knocked Pernell down, he got up. This is no lie, man. Like, most fighters won't admit it, but I'm going to be honest. I always look at a guy's legs when they get up. When I got up, that motherfucker was bouncing. I said, oh, shit. And the referee said, box. He walked straight to me. I said to myself, I'm fucked. And For the next 10 rounds, that motherfucker went to work. I thought I was surrounded in that motherfucker. Man. I'm like, God damn. One time he hit me, he's got in the clinch. He said, buddy, come on. I said, dog, I ain't going nowhere. No, I can't. I got to walk out this ring. And then after the fight, you know, of course he won. And everybody was crying. So my really good friend, you know what I mean? I said, yo, dog. He said, what? I said, did he beat me that bad? He said, nah, man. He tore your ass out the frame. So I started laughing, man, and my manager's like, what the fuck's so funny? I said, hey, man, it's over. What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to take it on the chin, haven't you? Especially if someone...
Nigga, I took it everywhere.
How good was he, Pernell?
The best.
Yeah.
Best, man.
Did he best you share the ring with?
Yeah. Easy. He hit me like up top, right? 7, 8 punches, then that body shot. Boom! Feel like somebody stabbed you. Be like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kill your little ass if I catch you. So I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker.
It was close to first one though, wasn't it? First fight was close.
The first fight was close. First fight I fought him entirely different. I was smart. Second fight I was like, fuck it, I gotta go for broke. You know what I mean? But in all honesty, before the second fight, I fought a kid named Pat Coleman. And after the Pat Coleman fight, my manager said, you got the rematch with Pernell. So I started crying. And my wife was like, what's the matter? I said, I'm done. I don't want to fight anymore. And she like, what? I said, I'm done. I said, they said I couldn't come back. I came back. I did it. You know what I mean? I fucking got back to the top. And I don't want to do this. She said, well, don't do it. I said, all right. So I went home. And about 2 days later, I got a fucking letter from the IRS about this fucking thick shit like a notebook. I said, Mr. McGirt, you owe us 300,000 big ones. I said, well, training camp, here I come.
Our friends at Bingham Long Solicitors are leading a major legal claim on behalf of people affected by legal aid data breach. Earlier this year, the agency failed to protect applicants' sensitive information, allowing hackers to access and download over 2 million pieces of personal data, including names, addresses, financial details, and even criminal records. If you applied for legal aid at any point since 2007, your data may have been exposed and you may be due significant compensation. To find out if you're eligible and join the claim, simply scan the QR code now on screen. You can also learn more at legalaidclaim.com.
So, you ready? We're back on. So I got the letter. And I was like, fuck, man. So I went to the IRS office. I mean, and they're like, no one comes here. I'm like, look, man, I know I owe you. So, you know, what I'm gonna do? And I had to take the rematch, man. I really didn't want to fight anymore, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize I knew I was in debt, but I didn't realize that shit was like this, man. That shit like a notebook. I carried it in my pocket for like 2 days. And my wife was like, the shit ain't gonna go away. You might as well open it. I opened that motherfucker, man. And boom, I was like, motherfucker, man. So, you know, I really, when I went to camp, I trained, but I just went through the mud. Not taking nothing away from him. You know what I'm saying?
You were different though.
Yeah, my state of mind was totally different.
1 foot out.
You know, you fight and you saying to yourself, okay, you got to give your managers a cut, trainers a cut, pay your trainer expenses, and then you got to give Uncle Sam. I mean, so basically you're fighting for nothing. I mean, so you know, and so you know, it was a learning experience. Then after that, when I was fighting, I just went through the motions, man. Listen, I went from fighting welterweight to fucking middleweight. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Overnight, I woke up one day and said I'm gonna fight middleweight.
You know the transition to training. Obviously, as a trainer, we can't speak highly enough of you, but. Was it an easy transition for you? Did you always have it in your mind that you were going to be a trainer?
The day after I started boxing, I wanted to be a trainer, but it was still a hard transition because at first you wanted to train everybody to fight like you, but then you realize
that was going to be one of my questions. To be
then
fair.
You realize everybody can't, and then I had to realize I didn't learn this shit overnight. Because at first I would teach a guy, so I'm saying to myself, this guy can't be that stupid. But then when I went home one day, I said, bud, you didn't learn this shit overnight.
Callum and the lads asked one of the footballers who we had on the podcast, well, not the podcast.
We're asking you the same question, but kind of know your answer. Yeah. You know, like,
realistic managers, like footballers who have been great footballers. You know, you're a Hall of Fame fighter, you know, world champion. Do you ever get frustrated or do you ever find it hard coaching a fighter?
Yeah.
Who can't do stuff who I can't say not as good as you, because
What you probably found easy.
What you found easy, and he's just struggling to do it. Did you ever get frustrated? How the fuck can he do it? It's a 1-2 left hook or something like that. How can he keep the right hand up? Just something.
You know what I do?
Simple.
I tell the manager, protect the kid, and the manager would understand what I was saying. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then they would take the kid and get him a few fights, and then convince him and his family to eventually make him. I mean, because it's like, the man's like, well, he looked good on the heavy bag. I said, shit, I can look good on the heavy bag. You know what I mean? That's just what, when I see him sparring, it's not, what people don't understand, boxing's not for everybody. And a lot of people are like, oh, I can do that. Okay. You say you can do it until you get in there, and you might win a few fights, but what happens when you hit someone and they hit you back and they don't go down? I mean, and you can't say time out. I mean,
but does it ever frustrate you? No. But do you just deal with it like, well, look, I'm going to have to tell them. I'll do it.
Now, sometimes it frustrates the shit out of me. I'm saying to myself, who the fuck trained this guy? No, not you. But a couple of guys, I say to myself, who the fuck trained this guy, man? You know what I mean?
I remember getting to your gym, Buddy, in 2000. We met on the Contender. I was pissed off that you're on the opposite team, and I got Pepe Correa. Pepe, nice fella, but...
You beat my guy, though, man.
Yeah, I beat your guy, yeah, but you picked the fucking most awkward guy that I could fight just to try and...
I wasn't stupid. Yeah. I saw how you was eating in the fucking plates in there. The motherfuckers had a chef, man. They had a professional chef. And every time I go in there, West Port, I'm like, oh, we're going to fight that motherfucker first. He got to make weight. And we fight the same night. We fight that motherfucker.
You told me last minute, same day weigh-in.
I said, we fighting him. Every time I go in there, West Paul. But they had a good chef, though, man. They was
fucking great chef.
They had good food in that mouth. They was like, buddy, we're going to have the food truck. I'm like, man, fuck that food truck.
I can't believe that stopped. That was one of the best. Used to be the best thing to watch.
Show, there's still got legs in that, I think. It was an old warehouse in downtown LA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was the gym off $1 Million Baby, the film. Yeah. That was the gym. And then there was a little warehouse next to it where held probably 300 people, 400 people, and that's where the fight was. Yeah, they made it look like it was like 1,000 people in the noise. Yeah. And then there was another little small one next to it where they had all beds, like Big Brother, and that was the house, but it was fucking full of ants, remember?
Yeah.
We're all getting eaten alive.
They were abandoned buildings.
They were
abandoned buildings that they rented. They rented the building. And then they set up everything, the living facilities. Like, they have a big TV, but there's no fucking wires. Because I told Ray, I said, Ray, you got to have a TV, man, a VCR, something, man. These guys are going to kill each other in this motherfucker. No TV. Nothing.
Yeah, they're like white canopies, so none of the choppers above could take any film or anything. I used to just spend.
They was like in a prison yard. They had like a gate. Yeah. They couldn't go out the gate. You go from their living quarters to the gym. That's it.
Yeah. He even just being ordered in a final eliminator against Brandon Adams. I think he won the last one.
Did he?
I think that was the last one he had. I can't remember it since.
Yeah.
I think he won the last one, didn't he? And hasn't been on since.
Yeah. It was good getting to know you, obviously, and then I went to the gym after, and I just asked you there, and then I just thought, like, I need this change, and I would love to train with yourself. And I swear, I remember ringing Callum when he first went to LA with you in the LA gym. I said, how is it? And he said, all right. He's like, back to school. He said, but I know what he's saying is correct, so it's just trusting it. My problems when I got to you was
eating,
yeah, not enough of it. I used to think, that can't be all he's asking me to do. That can't be it, you know what I mean? Like, it's the basics, and you're thinking, there's got to be more to that, and you're saying, just jab, and I'm trying to break your arm with every jab, and you're going, just jab, and I'm thinking, that can't be it. You can't want just the minimum basics off me. You've got to want more, surely, not realising, and then all of a sudden, it clicks, and the penny drops. I remember asking Callum, I'm on it now, like, I feel good now, I'm enjoying it, and back to schools.
You know what's funny with him? I said, give me a good jab. He hit it, boom. Okay, 1, 2, then beep,
yeah,
boom. I'm like, I said, Callum, make the jab as hard as the right hand. He goes, okay, here's a hard jab. Boom. I said, okay, 1, 2, beep, boom. I'm like, this fucking guy, man.
That's the thing with you. You coach the basics very well. You understand boxing very well. I think that's the problem with a lot of coaches nowadays. They can't teach the basics, so they try and reinvent the wheel and overcomplicate things and create methods and ways, and the game hasn't really changed much in the last 60 years.
And listen, I see people on Instagram, teaching boxing, I'd be sitting at the Callum. Like, some of the shit people be doing on there, they should be banned, man. It's like, what the hell? Like, there was someone on there that says, it's no lie, man. I sent them the video. I still got it on my phone. They said you throw a left hook, hit the person with a left hook, and then jump in the air. Yeah, you hit him, boom, jump in the air and pull back. I was like, this person should be fucking banned, dog. They shouldn't be allowed nowhere near a boxing gym. Even my granddaughter know you don't do no shit like that. And she don't know left hook from a fish hook, you know what I'm saying? But the shit that some of these people be doing, man, it's like, oh my God, man.
It's crazy though, isn't it? It's definitely, it's coming to a head now, I think, with the social media. There's so many people trying to do things that they shouldn't really be doing.
People get a guy that can fight. That's a natural. Right away, people, oh man, he's a great trainer. That motherfucker can fight, dog. He doesn't need somebody to, you know, he's got a natural. Anybody says some fighters that anybody could train.
Yeah,
definitely. You know what I mean? Because they're just natural. But now,
Mayweather and stuff. You know what I mean?
But now if you can say, okay, you got to make adjustments now. Now you got to tell this guy what adjustments he got to make. And my motherfucker like, well, I don't know.
I see people all the time and they're trying these 15-punch combinations, they're out of range, they're doing this, but the kid can't throw a jab. So teach him how to throw a jab, but the coach can't really teach that jab.
He don't know the jab himself.
Exactly, but it's just the basics that will get the fighter far and further than all the fancy stuff without the basics.
That's what I could watch all the day. You two on the pads, no way. Like just like, I don't know whether it be a 1-2 left hook or, you know, jab left hook, and it's like the two shots land are good and you just go foot. You're not even looking, you watch the foot. Yeah. So you're holding the bits, you hit the pads and you go watch your foot without kind of looking down, you know what I mean? Watch the foot.
That's hot foot Callum, because that left foot be, that fucking left be going everywhere. He just wants to throw that hook. He's like, fuck everything else, man. Let me get that hook in there. Before the Buatsi fight, right, I had him throwing short right hands. He's like, I don't throw short. I said, listen, with this motherfucker, you're going to have to throw the motherfucker, because he's going to be right there. He's going to try to, you know, close the gap. See, the people that fight him think, I got to get close to him. No, you don't. You want to be like Ali when you fight this motherfucker. You try to fight him on the inside, he's going to eat your lunchbox, man. I mean, and I told him, I said, Kyle, I said, that short, bing, bing, right there. He's going to be right there for it. Because I knew they was going to try to make him close the gap. And when that didn't work, they had no answer, which was good. I mean, they didn't have an answer for it.
But during your coaching career, you've worked with some unbelievable fighters, and can I ask you some list of names you've worked with. Who's the craziest person you've been in the gym with? Who's the maddest you've worked with?
Wow.
You've been on some characters, haven't you?
I've had. Wow. I've had a bunch of characters.
You must have learned some work, especially when you've.
I've had like
Tapia, haven't you?
Johnny Tapia, yeah.
I had Johnny Tapia.
That's what I mean.
Tapia's unbelievable.
So you must have seen some lunatics.
Oliver McCall. I mean.
Gatti.
And Arturo. But Arturo, see, when I got Arturo, I got him after his crazy life. He got back into the craziness after we parted ways. You know what I mean? He was starting to go headed back in that direction. But the time that I had him from the Tehran Miled fight until he fought Baldemir, not even going, because the Baldemir fight, he didn't even want to be there. The other fights, he was cool. Like, he would go out like this one. He would come to camp 3 months ahead of time. They sent him to Florida 3 months ahead of time. And he'd train Monday to Friday. He goes, Coach, I'm going out tonight. I mean, I said, no problem. But he would go with, like, some of the guys. A lot of the fighters would go. I mean, he goes, you know, but he wasn't fucking with no drugs at that time. He wasn't doing any drugs. He might go and have a few beers, but no drugs. You know what I'm saying? That was the good part. You know what I'm saying? So he would go out, and then after the Mayweather fight, then that's when he started to go left, after the Mayweather fight.
Just before the Mayweather fight, I remember seeing the change in Gatti, and he was boxing like really well, and not the Gatti from the, you know, the wars that we've seen, and it was down to yourself getting them boxing. And I remember that's one of the first things that like stuck in my mind about the relationship you must have had, in the sense that he was listening to you, and someone who could fight the way he fought, was boxing and was looking really
I knew he can always slug. I was like, look, we know you can go in there and bang, but why do it if you don't have to? Make the shit easy if you can. And he had good legs. That's the first thing I looked at when I started training, was his legs, and his legs were good. I was like, okay, he still got legs, so he's going to be okay. If he had no legs, it'd have been a wrap.
So you got no answer to the question, and you don't know who's the maddest you've been in the gym with?
Okay, let me think now. Hey man, listen, I can't, man.
I know you've got some unbelievable stories. I've heard a few of them, but I just don't know
I've had some characters,
who's
man.
the maddest?
James Toney's just James Toney, man. You know what I mean? But I've had guys crazier than James Toney. Yeah. Like I've been
What's Tapia? Tapia's got to
Johnny Tapia was one in a million, man. I mean, Tapia was the type of guy that if he met you and you didn't say hi to his wife, he had nothing to say to you. You was dead to him. Like his wife came first. I mean, but I'll tell this story about Johnny. He said, buddy, he used to call me Brother Love. He goes, Brother Love, I'm having a birthday party for my son tomorrow. And when I was in camp with him, I had my wife and two of my daughters. He goes, bring your wife and your daughters. I said, you sure? He goes, yeah, bring them, don't worry. I said, okay. Teresa said, buddy, bring them. So boom, I go to pick up the sparring partners. And one of them said, your buddy, I got this girl, we're going to ride with you. I said, does Johnny know the girl's coming? He said, nah. She can't get in this truck, bro. And I said, I don't think you should take her to the house. I think it's a bad move. Because, man, I've known Johnny longer than you. That's my essay. I said, okay. So the girl drove from LA to Vegas. So boom, we go to the house. We're getting outside, so I go inside. So Johnny's standing outside, and he said, Brother Love. I'm like, yeah. He goes, who's that chick? I said, talk to your man. Yeah, Johnny said, yo, man, what the fuck you doing? You don't bring nobody to my house without talking to me. Because we friends. He said, I don't give a shit. He said, I got a wife. I was like, oh, come on, Johnny. Come on, man. The lady came in the house, sat down, crossed her legs like she owned the house. Teresa came downstairs, said, can I talk to you outside for a minute? She said, yeah. She told that bitch, kick rocks, motherfucker. You got to go. And the guy, Johnny told his sparring partner, if you get in the car with her, go back to LA, you fired.
He had some story, didn't he, Johnny?
Oh, man.
Johnny Tapia.
Documentary on it, like, I watched the documentary. It's unbelievable.
Johnny Tapia.
Yeah,
And he loved playing
unbelievable.
basketball, man.
Did he?
Yeah. And it'd be fucking 900 degrees outside. And he's like, and after I trained him, I had to stay there with him for at least 3-4 hours. Teresa's like, buddy, you got to stay here with him and keep him occupied. This motherfucker, come on, Brother Love, let's play basketball. I'm like, Johnny, we in Las Vegas in July, motherfucker. It's 100 degrees outside, man.
Listen, again, a typical interview question. We've asked you who the craziest one was. Who's the most talented that you've ever worked with as a coach?
Yeah, I think I know this one. I think I've heard one of them.
You can say Vernon Forrest,
It's one I've heard you say, but we've been
Tarver,
like,
and Johnny Beck. Naturals. But personally, the world didn't get to see the best of Vernon Forrest.
I got to see, I think, about 3 or 4 rounds of mitts, what you were doing with him in Vero Beach after one of my sessions one day when I was just getting ready. He'd come in and get his hands wrapped by you while I was getting changed to go. Me and Macklin would be leaving. And I got to catch a little bit of a session, and he was obviously...
You got to see him shadowbox, man. People used to come to the gym just to watch him shadowbox, man. Unbelievable. He's the one guy that would have beat Floyd. He would have beat Floyd, man.
remember you saying that, yeah, when we were away, yeah.
He's talking about the people that used to go to his gym. I've got a funny story about his gym, and I walked in once, and these 2 cops walked in with the guns on the side, just normal suits on, and he's laughing his head off at my reaction when I seen it. I was like, buddy, no one walks around with guns where we live, you know me.
One guy went there, a guy pulled up one day. Me and Paul sitting outside, and the guy goes, Paul's like, fuck, tell him to fuck off. I'm like, what are you talking about, Paul? He goes, that means fuck off where I'm from. I said, nigga, he's saying peace. Like, he gave it the peace sign. He was ready to fight the guy, man. The guy was a cop. The guy
Walked past him like that. Fuck's that?
I said, fuck him, buddy. Tell him to fuck off. I'm like, Paul, that means peace, brother.
He took me for a coffee the first day I got there. And he went through the drive-thru, and the little fella and the young lad in the things going, I'm welcome to Starbucks. What can I get you today? So, yeah, can I have a mocha, this? He said, and a latte. And he said, yeah, anything else? He goes, yeah, did you take food stamps? And you hear the fella like stuttering, and you get to the front and he went, I should have known it was you.
That bust chops, man.
Now back to speaking about Gatti. What was it like being sat on the ring apron for those 3 Mickey Wall fights?
Brother, you gotta wear a pamper, because you're gonna either piss or shit yourself at any fucking time. Like the first fight, man, I was more nervous the first fight because my first fight with him was with Teron Millette, and he only went 3 rounds. Mickey Ward had just fought Emmanuel Burton and Zab Judah. So he had 10, 12 rounds under his belt. Gatti only had 3 after being off for 2 years. So I was like, fuck, I was worried. And then he was doing good, you know. I was like sitting on the edge of the stool the whole time. And then when he went down with the body shot and came back to the corner, the referee and the doctor was speaking Italian. I didn't understand them. So people thought the fight was stopped. But what they really were doing was buying Arturo time.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So the referee looked at me and goes, so what are you going to do in English? I said, what the fuck did the doctor just say to you, man? I don't know what's going on. But they was talking Italian to buy time. But Mickey Ward thought the fight was stopped. You know what I mean? And he started celebrating and said no. But then in the second fight, I knew the second fight. His training camp was...
Go there.
Yeah. There was a guy named Cesar Bazan. He was a lightweight champion. He had beat Stevie Johnson. He was like the main guy who should spar with him. And, I mean, the second and third fight, the third fight he went in with a fractured hand. He fractured his hand like the first week in camp. Yeah. But he kept training. He trained the whole month. And then he goes, Coach, don't worry, I'm going to be okay. And then when he hit him on the hip, I was like, shit. So what I did when he came back to the corner, I didn't mention the hand anymore. I didn't ask him, how's your hand? I just kept my mind off of the hand. I didn't say anything about the hand. But those 3 fights, man, I was like, fuck.
What fight was it where you say, what do you want me to do? And he said, just help me up.
That was his first fight.
Yeah.
He hit Mickey Ward with like 20 punches, and Mickey hit the gloves and said, fuck. I said, oh, man, goddamn, we in trouble. And then after the 9th round, I said, you okay? He said, just help me up, coach. I'll be okay. When he got up, I said, bounce, and he started bouncing. And then he went out there, man, and fucking won the 10th round. That's what the fight, you know what I mean?
Especially, like, he's a special fighter for what he just showed, and then never mind the rest of his career. But you've got to be a bit tapped to go through what.
Yeah, him and Mickey Ward both.
Yeah,
No,
that's
Mickey
what.
said-
Especially Mickey as well.
In the third fight, he hit Mickey with a double hook. And Mickey, like, did something like this. Mickey said that when he got hit with that shot, his fucking brain shifted. That's why he quit fighting.
Yeah.
He says to this day, if he looks up this way, he sees triple. He said, my fucking shit shifted, man.
I've had a left hook to the body of Mickey Ward.
But every time Mickey got close, I told Arturo, when he gets close, sit down. Yeah. I said, sit down. Just act like a chair's there.
Sit on the rope a little bit, yeah.
Because if not, Mickey just had a way of getting to that fucking liver, man. And he do it from a southpaw stance. That's what made it. He hit you up top and go downstairs, man.
Hatton to do similar with body shots. So rather than stepping and getting round, he just leaned southpaw and try and belt you with that. Mickey Ward came to the Contender finals to watch. It was in Boston. It was in the Garden in Boston, one at the finals. And I just felt a little left hook from behind to the body and turned around, and he put a Scouse accent on because he'd obviously boxed Shane Early. And he found out we were from Liverpool, and he was talking to everyone in there, and I couldn't have met a nicer fella.
He's a good guy, Mickey.
Buzzing meeting him.
He's a good guy.
He was something else. Not something.
Johnny Beck's a good fighter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Good. Johnny Beck's talented.
It's a shame what happened, you know, with this drug situation, man. But he's another one. He's such a natural, man. Like shit he does is fucking unbelievable. Sometimes he gets a little cocky, and I gotta tell him, yo, they don't like that here in the States, man. You know what I mean? If you got a guy out, get that motherfucker out of there. Don't let him stick around if you don't have to. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's definitely a natural. But Vernon Tarver was why I tell Callum this. If Tarver got you hurt, he was getting your ass out of there. That was it. If he had to throw 20,000 punches, he was getting you out of there. But he had this fucking way he threw his left uppercut that was just, but the shit was fast and accurate, man.
You told me a story about Tarver when he fought Roy Jones. I think it was the second fight.
And when I got him mad, yeah.
Yeah, and they come to the centre of the ring.
Unbelievable, you know, especially to knock him out the way he did. Just unbelievable.
He said, buddy, I'm actually that motherfucker forget.
I hated Tarver because of that.
Because of that, yeah.
Like Tarver's whole career.
He told you before, though, didn't he?
Do you know when, like, you say, like, Kazak or Froch, you Fury, Lewis Tyson, fucking Fury, Joshua, you want to do Messi, Ronaldo. Like, I hated Tarver's career because of, you know, Roy Jones. I was that big of Roy Jones fan.
I didn't like Lennox Lewis because of Tyson.
And then I didn't at the time. And then Lennox Lewis now is the best ever.
Yeah, great.
Come on, you know what I mean? But
Best from Britain.
that, you couldn't write that one, like, the way he said to him, the referee, any questions? And he goes, any excuses tonight, Roy? Any excuses
He
tonight?
told me in the dressing room he was going to say that. I'm like, no, you're not. Good watch, buddy.
Unbelievable.
Fuck Roy up.
Yeah.
Fucked him up. But I gotta honestly say that I knew once Roy came down from heavyweight,
Yeah.
so you can't beat Antonio. You can't.
A lot of muscle in it
Yeah.
as well.
I saw him on the scale in the first fight. Like his muscles was flat. Yeah. I mean, his skin was dry. I was like, I don't know how he mustered up the first fight. I got to give it to Roy.
Obviously, you've asked you who's like about the best fights and stuff. Who's the best you went up against as a coach?
The best.
Out of the fight, yeah.
Oh, Floyd.
Floyd.
Well, yeah. But that was a mismatch.
I remember when
It was unbelievable that night though as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That was when he was in his prime as well, though, weren't it?
it's one of his best performances.
That was his best performance, I think. As far as
I remember watching it me flat on Sky, and they had Foo Fighters Best of You at the end. You know, when they closed the show, and I always remember the show colours and everything. Unbelievable Floyd. I remember when Ricky was matched against Mayweather. I was in Vero at the time, and I was in camp, and I'm like, that's a buddy. I've sparred Ricky a lot. He's strong as fuck. Like he's stupidly strong for his size.
I watched that fight with him.
Yeah, we watched it here.
We did. Yeah, so we did. So all through the camp, I was like, I think Ricky can do it, you know. And he's going, well, he's just smiling and shaking his head, and it wasn't arrogant. It wasn't like complete. He was just like, Floyd's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, I remember I'm thinking, so you think Floyd said Floyd's a bad motherfucker, and the next one he's the elbow.
That night, I fought in Bolton. After the fight, we're all in Oddie's on County Road upstairs, and I'm watching after the second round and thinking, oh shit, and I turned round and looked at him, and he's just sitting there and going, just to say, like, told you.
December the 10th, one of those.
December the 8th, I think it was, 2008, yeah.
Yeah, Floyd was a bad man, man. You know, I got to give it to him. You know what I mean? And the funny thing, that night before the fight, one of Floyd's, this guy that works for the promoter came to me and says, McGirt, listen, I need you to show me where your family's sitting. I said, why? He said, in case Arturo gets lucky, we're going to tear this fucking place up. So we need to know where your family's sitting. I said, they're sitting right there. He says, tell them if your boy gets lucky, to fucking duck and go that way. I said, you got it, my man. Listen, man, they had metal detectors, man. There was more guns inside the fucking arena than it was outside the arena, man. Them motherfuckers was, man, they came in that motherfucker, man. I was like, the dude was like, your buddy. He came to the dress room to get me because, buddy, I need to talk to you. I said, what's up, man? He said, come outside. He said, show me where your family's at. Like, for what? He said, in case this motherfucking white boy gets lucky. He says, we're going to tear this fucking place up. I'm like, ain't this a bitch? So I told him, gee, look, you guys duck and follow him. And he said, if he gets lucky, follow. We know you're on his team, but you with Buddy. But shit, man, I knew.
No going into like them big fights, say the Roy Jones fights, the Mayweather. Did you get nervous as a coach?
The Gatti fight with Floyd.
Yeah.
At first I was nervous. But then this reality just said, yo, buddy, ain't no way in the fuck he's going to win this fight, man. Yeah. First of all, he came to camp 180. He had to get down to 140. In the week of the fight, he was close to 15 pounds over. Yeah. I mean, I just said, he didn't take it serious. Not that it would have made a difference. Yeah. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah.
When you said about, like, the way boxing is, and there might have been more guns in the in than out, and some of the funny scrapes and funny stories. I bet you've met some people through boxing. I bet you've met some people from different walks of life through boxing.
Oh, man.
I sat at some tables that you would have ever probably sat
Michael
at
Jackson,
through boxing.
didn't you?
I met Michael Jackson, man. Thanks to Brendan Ingle, man.
How old was you?
When Prince Naseem fought Kevin Kelly, when he fought Kevin Kelly, she was going to say some smart shit.
Yeah, he was, yes.
And when he fought Kevin Kelly in New York, there was a gym called Blue Velvet Boxing, and Prince came there to train, and Michael Jackson was coming, so the owner said, everybody got to leave. And Mr. Ingle said, Buddy McGirt stays. And the owner said, Michael Jackson's coming. He said, I don't give a shit who's coming. Buddy stays. Buddy and his friend stays. And that was a friend of mine. He goes, you guys stay. And who's Michael Jackson come stand next to him and talk to him?
Lagoon.
While Prince was shadow boxing. He goes, Buddy, what is that doing? I said, to normal boxers, that's shadow boxing. I said, this crazy motherfucker ain't no telling what the fuck he's doing. Because, you know, he was awkward as shit, man. You know, he had that crazy style, man. But yeah, man, listen, man, in 1993, 93, I had to go before the fucking Washington, D.C. Senate. Because they tried to say I had mob ties. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
They tried to say I was with John Gotti's crew. So They took me into a fucking little room in D.C. Well, these pictures of all these mobsters. So I'm looking around. They're like, any of these guys look familiar? I'm like, come on, you guys fucking serious right now. I said, there's not one black guy on the fucking wall. Not one. And you ask me, do all these white guys look familiar? They all look the fucking same, man. The fucking wall is white. The pictures are in black and white. And they're white. What the fuck you mean anybody look for? The fuck out of here. And the guy's like, well, stop joking, but this is serious. I'm like, sir, what do you want from me? Like, tell me, what do you want from me? They says, well, listen, here's a picture of you going to dinner with Mr. Gotti, and you have your daughter in a car seat. I'm like, yeah. They says, and what did you learn by going to dinner with them? I said, they picked some good fucking restaurants. I can tell you that much. And the guy's like, you're joking. I said, sir, what do you want me to tell you? I said, how many black people do you see in the mob? He's like, none. I said, so why are you fucking with me, man? Has they ever asked you to do a favor for them? I said, no, they haven't. They never asked me to do anything. They've bought tickets to the fight, and they fucking invite me to dinner, and I'm gonna go. It's free and it's good. Fuck what you heard. And they got mad at me. Then they didn't question me anymore. But then I had to go testify. Fucking testify. And you haven't been asked to take a dive. Like, come on, man. And it was all bullshit.
Should have said yeah, the second Pernell fight.
Yeah. I took my own dive. Shit got thick on the brother.
And then your photos up on the Sopranos and the Bada Bing.
Yeah, exactly. Hello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So I'm like, my God, man. And then after I beat Simon Brown, listen, when I fought Simon Brown, right? I was a 10-1 underdog. So John Gotti sent his crew to Las Vegas. Now, the motherfuckers came with briefcases full of money and left with suitcases full of money. That was before 9/11, so they didn't check your fucking bags. The motherfuckers bet so much money on me, it was ridiculous. Then after the fight, they threw a big party for me in Queens. So I went. The feds had pictures of that. They said, did you know they was charging $200 at the door? I'm like, no. I said, why would I pay $200 to go to a party thrown for me? That don't make no fucking sense, does it? What about your brothers? I said, they drank about a $2,000 worth of liquor. I can tell you that much. Because I had a limo with my brothers, my friends. The motherfuckers would drink. I didn't drink. They were drinking like crazy. You know what I mean? And they showed the fight on the TV in there, and they was charging $200 at the fucking door. And the fucking place was standing room only. But I had a good time. But, you know, this is shit. I told the feds, you guys got nothing else better. Listen, the feds used to come to the gym and watch me train, man. Sit outside my house. I'm like, you guys got nothing else better? We think the mob's gonna come to my motherfucking house? Ain't nobody coming to this neighborhood, man.
But obviously your career fighting and coaching has took you all over the world. There's probably not many places you haven't been to. What was it like when you first come to Liverpool, mate? Was it a culture shock or?
I'm gonna tell you, when I first came, it was my first time in the UK, right? So, first of all, I couldn't understand shit your brother was saying, but I'm just saying, yeah. Like, yeah. He smiled, I smiled. He could have been saying, you're an asshole. I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? But it was the first time that I fucking had baked beans. Well, you guys call it, we call it baked beans. We're really, in the hood, we call them pork and beans. You know what I mean? Beans with fucking eggs. So when he said, go to breakfast, I went to breakfast. I'm like, fucking baked beans? What the fuck is this shit? First time I ever seen it, man. It tripped me out. So I went home and I bought some fucking beans. Gina was like, motherfucker, look, you are back in New York. You're not in fucking England. But out of all the places, I can honestly say that I've been in the UK, I can live in Liverpool if I had to. I love Liverpool. The only thing is that when you guys start talking fast, I'm fucked up. You know what I mean? In the car, I tell Callum, just text me. Like, he gets excited, man, he says, text me, motherfucker. We have a better conversation because right now, I don't know what the fuck. One day, Beefy called him. I was like, how the fuck you understand him? I felt like I was in New York in Spanish Harlem. They were talking Spanish.
I took him for the breakfast the first time we got here. I said, try that, buddy. It was black pudding. He went, what is it? I went, I'll tell you after you eat it. He went, I don't give a fuck. Just picked it up, bit it straight away. It was nice. He was having his beans and his black pudding, but it was cold one at the time.
Yeah.
It was cold, and it's cold again now.
Yeah, but now, listen, I mean, I've gotten used to the weather here in the UK. Like the summertime, fucking got hot as a bitch. But I got lucky. The hotel he put me in, the room I had, was cool all the time. I got lucky. No fucking AC. But I can honestly say I love Liverpool. I can come here anytime.
Yeah, I've got a story about when he's saying about Liverpool. Though. He said, when he was in Liverpool, he said, Callum was fighting in Tottenham Hotspur's ground, yeah, Castillo. Yeah. And just before we were about to go, he said to me, Paul, Chisora said it's rough where we're going, the area we're going. I'm like, buddy, your body got pulled out of the street next to you last night. I just didn't want to tell you. You know, down by the flower street. And like, I didn't tell you. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, like you've been in a rough, yeah, body was in an entry in the street next to you. And we just didn't tell you. Like, you'd been in a rough ass place, and he's worried about going down to London. London was a picnic.
Yeah, man. But Chisora like, be careful. I'm like, all right, no problem. Motherfucker, I'm in Liverpool, nigga. What you talking about? I'm in Liverpool with the Scousers, man. But I love Liverpool. Like, I can come here anytime, man. I love it, man. I mean, the people here are nice. I enjoy it. It's just that the weather, man. I don't know how you guys live here, man. The rain. It's just depressing.
It's not Vero, is it?
It's not Vero.
No, it's not Vero. Not even New York, man. Like, New York get a rain, but like in April, we get a lot of rain in New York. But you guys get this shit here every day, year round, man. What cracks me up is that everywhere I go, as soon as I walk in, people look at me, you okay? You okay, motherfucker?
I've done that a few times.
Everywhere you go, no matter where you go, and I walk in the store, hello, you okay? I'm like, damn, do I look crazy? What the fuck?
I said that to him a few times. Like that's how we tend to say hello. You know.
I figured that out by now.
Oh, you're all right. All right,
Yeah,
you're okay.
you're right.
But when you go to the States, or when people are saying things, when you go to the States, they look at you like you're too fucking head. And you say it, they're like, why do I look okay? Or like something
Like,
fucking
why?
wrong with me.
There's no
Yeah.
difference say in the States. Then you go to New York, they're, you okay? They're like, no, motherfucker, you okay?
Yeah, it's like a throwdown.
Yeah. Then they look you up and down. Then now they want to fight. It's like, but I love Liverpool. I've been all over. I love Liverpool, man.
People in the States always say, "Oh, I love London." I'm like, "Nah, it's not London. Like, come to Liverpool. Go to the proper places up north and get to see like."
Just come to City Center and you straight. I mean, everything is cool right
You
here.
know your
man.
way down the city centre now, don't you?
Yeah, but now my knee's fucked up. I can't go nowhere, man. I gotta go within a certain area.
What I wanted to ask you as well. One fighter that you could have trained or didn't train. Do you have any regrets that you didn't work with a certain fighter at all? Or
Nah, you know, you think about it, and it's like, this is how I look at it, that everything happens for a reason. So I feel if it's meant for me to train certain people, it would have happened. I mean, if not, I mean, no problem, man.
That was my similar question. Any regrets with your own boxing career?
Nah.
Any like fights you took you shouldn't have took?
I could say yeah, but this is how I say it. If I change it, I wouldn't be who I am now. I mean, like I had hard lessons in the game. I mean, and but it all taught me, you know, for later on. So like now being a trainer, and sometimes when I listen to fighters talk and the managers talk, on the back of my mind, I'm like, he's bullshitting the hell out of you, kid. Don't go for the okie doke. That's all bullshit. You know what I mean?
overlay?
Yeah, that's the overlay for the underplay. You know what I'm saying? You gotta leave that shit alone. And then sometimes, like, I hear guys, yeah, you know, I've been in this game 20 years. I'd be like, man, please knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, who you bullshitting? I mean, you ain't been in this game 20 years.
I wanted to ask you as well about like people you trained or people you didn't train. You took Mike Tyson on the miss, didn't you?
Yeah, we trained for a couple weeks. And then one day I just said, Mike, I said, you don't want to fight anymore, do you? He said, not really, buddy.
What was his power like?
I can't describe it, man. I ain't going to talk about his power. We was doing Mitch one day, man. He did a move, and he hit me with his forearm on the shoulder. I said, don't do that no more, man. You might whoop my ass, but nigga, you know what? You going to leave here with no balls, because I'm going to snatch them motherfuckers up. He did a move, man. He was pop, pop, and he turned. He goes, what if I do this? And he hit me with his forearm. Boom. I said, yo, man, don't do that, man. That motherfucker's strong, man.
Yeah, totally.
He's strong.
Yeah, I bet he, back in the day when he was proper explosive, I bet he was.
He even got a strong walk. You ever see a motherfucker walk strong? Like, he walks strong. Like, you look at you see him walking towards you, you be like, oh, fuck, man. God damn. And the crazy part is I've known him since he was 16 years old, man. Yeah. He was sparring Frank Bruno, 1982, in upstate New York.
Skills.
Yeah, in the Catskills. 83, sorry. Yeah. In the Catskills, man. He was sparring Frank Bruno. That's when I first met Frank Bruno, Lloyd Hannigan, and George Francis.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Frank Bruno used to say, this man's crazy. Yeah. That motherfucker was 16. God damn. And my manager said, that's the future right there. Explosive, man.
They honestly had to give anything to be able to see that up close.
Him and Kevin Rooney should sit in the back by themselves. They won't say nothing to nobody. And they have that faceless headgear on. Everybody should come down to watch. They should train like at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Just come watch that shit, man. That motherfucker, man.
That's the right word, Bud's explosive, innit?
Yeah. Fucking legs, man. That motherfucker's explosive, man. I'm like, I had to get caught in the alley with that motherfucker, man. I'm just gonna faint. To my jab and hook. Fuck that shit, man. I give Mitch Green credit. Mitch Green talking all that shit. Fuck that. Motherfucker hit me like that, man. I'm suing that motherfucker, man.
He took it twice, didn't he?
I'm gonna get an army tank.
Yeah. Once in the ring and then he had to straighten it outside.
I fought on the undercard.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, 1986 in Madison Square Garden. And fucking at the press conference, Mitch Green took off his shirt. Yeah. He said, the last guy you fought had titties. I ain't got no titties. Mitch Green was doing this shit. And Michael, that's when he was with Kevin. Michael just sitting there looking at him. Like, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker.
But honestly, you've got lines for everything, right? And one of the ones I want to make sure we get on record is the saying that he's got is just so true. And it reminds me when we were kids with my mother or something. You do something wrong when you fuck about, like when you're out like that, and they just give you the look. Like, and it's the ass whooping, isn't it?
Anticipation of an ass whooping is worse than the ass whooping itself. When your parents tell you at your cousin's house, I'm going to beat your ass when you get home, your whole day's fucked up. Right or wrong? Tell the truth. Your whole day's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing in a fight. You know what I mean? You sound like when Pernell got up, I'm like, I'm fucked. Shit, I got 8. What? I got 10 more rounds of this shit. That's the longest 40 minutes of my life, man. In the 10th round, my manager, I'm going to stop it. Motherfucker, please. Should have stopped that shit in the 3rd round. That motherfucker got up.
I think he's tired of it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's motherfucker. I got him now. Shit. His hands hurt. Something got to hurt. His shoulders. That motherfucker hit me like a speed bag. Bam, 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 bam. I said, I didn't know this nigga was that fast, man. Shit, man. Hey, if you don't throw, I'm going to stop it. I look, man, please, give my mouthpiece, motherfucker. You going to stop it. Stop. They should have called the cops a long time ago. My mother, God bless my mother. She said, I should have wore white underwear. I'd have threw the motherfuckers in the
ring. When you mentioned your mother then, buddy, you know.
She said, after the fight, she said, that boy whooped your ass.
You always speak about your mother, though. You know, with a lot for the ass whoopings you got off here, don't you?
I got beaten in class in the 3rd grade, bro. My mother came to the class and beat me in front of the class with a belt, man. Hey, man, I was sitting in class shooting paper clips. I looked up, I saw shades and an afro. I was the only black kid in the class. I knew it was my mother. I started crying. I said, don't let her in. My teacher was Miss Frankel, man. She let her in. My mother said, you called me? I looked at her. I'm like, send her this stuff. Bitch, you called my mother? My mother had a pocketbook. She used to hold it like this. She reached inside, grabbed the belt. And she said, you want to be the class clown? We're going to give the class something to laugh at. She beat my ass, man. Then the next year, I got suspended, 4th grade, right? So my friends were sitting in the office. Their parents came in. What happened? You know, and they telling their mother what happened. I said, yeah, my mother's going to do that too. My mother slung that door open. Boom! She turned that corner. I said, think quick. Think quick. So when she got closer, I pretend like I was fainting. Like I went like this. That shit didn't work. She caught me. Bang! Stood me up. Then she said, what happened? I said, Mom, too late now. She said, oh no, nigga. She said, this is the beginning. She said, I'm gonna whoop your ass when you get home. Wasn't there, man? And the principal told my mother what we did, man. We took a fucking guy's clothes off and threw him in the hallway naked. My mother said, I should go home, make you take off your clothes and run around outside the house naked for 10 minutes. She said, but I'm gonna beat your motherfucking, I got home, dog. I said, I hope the car blows up or something. I was in the back seat crying, man. I said, but my brother looked at me like, nigga, you are gonna get killed. Man, I was the only kid in school in 12th grade. They had the thing called Black Solidarity Day. All the blacks cut school. Come on, we cutting school. Not me. My black ass staying right here. Because if they call my mother and they say James ain't in school, brother, that's ass whooping. 17. I was still scared of my mother.
But so how did you feel after Buatsi, considering after his fight with Beterbiev, we kind of like was thinking, what's he gonna do now? Is he done?
Is he done?
Yeah, that's what we were all thinking. You were thinking, like, you know, interview yourself after. We were thinking, is he going to retire? Not is he done? Is he finished? Because he showed he's fucking far from it. But I mean, his decision, he was a little bit unsure himself, and like, you know, interview yourself after, which I've seen, and then even us as brothers, we didn't really know what he's going to do. But then to come back and to beat Buatsi like he did,
he had a different attitude. Different mentality in camp for the Buatsi fight. Yeah. He had the mentality of the Callum that I first met. You know what I mean? That he was going, by any means, that he was not losing. Yeah. In training, I saw the intensity in his training. He had that attitude. And for the Beterbiev fight, he had it until he got hurt.
The rib, yeah.
When he got hurt with the rib, it just like, it took the starch out of him. I mean, because he couldn't spar. I mean, it took the starch out of him. You know what I mean? So people like, well, buddy, you know, I said, no, he wasn't sharp. He couldn't spar for 3 weeks. Nothing he can do. You know what I'm saying? And you fight at that caliber. You know what I'm saying? But for Buatsi, he just had, from the day I got here, he had that tunnel vision. And I was like, I say to myself every day, he's going to fuck this motherfucker up, bro. Especially if we try to fight him on the inside. I mean, and then we sparred. We drove to, when you sparred the guy with the big muscles.
Manchester.
Was it Manchester?
Yeah, Manchester, yeah.
And the guy thought he was going to bully him. That shit worked for about maybe 3 seconds. Yeah. Kind of hit that motherfucker with like 3 pieces and a biscuit. Motherfucker said, I can't spar no more. I'm fighting in 2 weeks. Nigga, that's 2 weeks from now. Fuck you mean you can't spar no more? That was the last trip there. But his whole intensity was different in that fight. It's just everything. I was like, there's no way in the fuck he's losing to this guy.
Yeah, it was a satisfying one as well after it, when after Canada, we were down in the dumps, you know what I mean? And then to have that win was fucking great.
In training for the last 2.5 weeks, and I'm quite sure he'll agree, that was the longest 2.5 weeks of our life for the Beterbiev fight, because you know when you're going to the gym doing the same shit. Bag, match, bag, you can't spar, you can't make you can't do shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it takes a drive out of you. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, because it became monotonous.
And it was the 13th of Jan, the fight, wasn't it? So it was Christmas week and stuff, wasn't it? It was
just like when you know that, you know, when you're sparring, you know that you've done everything right. I mean, that's why when we got to Saudi, you know what I mean, you know, Virgil and them all, oh, buddy, yeah. Okay. I'll sleep on this kid if you want it. You go off, I said, I hope you guys go off the Beterbiev fight. Please do.
There's a good little speech in the corner, didn't you? Before round 12.
We need this one.
Carry you back.
Carry you back. Well, he'd have carried you back. My knees wouldn't let me. I was trying to jump on my back. We would have made it maybe 3 steps.
You see that a lot though, buddy. And I said this at the very, very start of this chat. You're known for a lot of your corner work. You've compassionately looked after a couple of fighters like Paulie, a couple of others when it's got a bit too late, a bit too much. Look, I'm not letting you take any more. Right. But you've also got the sound bites and the speeches, and it's genuine what you're saying. It's not for the camera. And there's a lot of trainers out there who do it for the camera. You seem to find the right word or the right phrase for the right thing when it's needed, and it's a better way of sort of getting the point across rather than just saying.
It's such a back on what you start, isn't it?
You know, it's pretty much experience it myself as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you know, I will say that when I went back to the corner, sometimes I had to make the adjustments on my own. I mean, my trainer's like, oh, we gotta, no, this motherfucker's hitting hard. We gotta switch up right now. And I fought a kid named Vincent Relaford, man, and I saw him at the weigh-in. When I saw him at the weigh-in, my manager's like, you know you're going to jail, right? I said, I'm gonna crush this motherfucker. Shit. Let me tell you something. We was on the inside. I said, I'm not boxing. I'm going. He hit me here. It felt like someone stabbed me. I felt it in my nose. I went back to the corner. I said, I got to box this motherfucker. And I started boxing him, man. And I stopped him in the 12th round with 10 seconds left. But my manager didn't say, oh, you got to make the adjustment. I had to do the shit on my own. I said, God,
I think that's where the good coaches stand out from the rest of 1 minutes. That's where you earn your money, the corner work. Anyone can, strength and conditioning coaches, all the pads. You've got a million good pad men who can...
Saying is in the gym can do all the pad routines, but part of being a good coach, a massive part of being a good coach is that cornerman.
You got to know your fighter. Like you got to look at your fighter and know your fighter. You got to study. I was taught you got to study your fighter every day. Watch his reaction. Sometimes it could be sparring. You watch his reaction time in the sparring. Like, that's it for today. You stop it. Yeah. I mean, if it's not there, you stop it. Yeah. You try, let him get it. No, get that shit tomorrow. Yeah. That's why it's called training. We get it tomorrow. If you don't have it today, come back in a couple of days.
I heard the saying once exactly along the lines of what you're saying, that a trainer should know how to beat his own fighter the best. Yeah. You should know how to beat him better than anyone out there should be able to know how to beat him. Right.
But also know like sometimes they could be working. I'd be like, yo, you feel like today? Yeah. I mean, and they say, yeah, I'm okay. No, you're not. I mean, go home.
Even like we say about taking for that last Buatsi fight, I think it was the Wednesday. I done 10 rounds, but when it was 1 in, 1 out, the two kids, and you get joking, didn't you? Say you've got a new opponent this one, but I had a really good spar, done a good 10 rounds, and then you cancelled the Friday spar, didn't you? You said, no, you're done, you're ready. You're ready. That's taking each fight a different case.
I believe every fight is different. Some guys, they need to spawn to that last day. But then some guys, if you get like 2 days before the last day and they look good, you want to end on a positive note. Because if you end on a negative note, no matter what anybody says, it's going to be in the back of the fighter's mind.
I've seen you do that a load of times where you just, I want 5 rounds. It's like 5's a weird one. You do weird numbers, but it's that you call it when
you feel it's done,
Like he's there. That's it.
4, 6, 8 or 10s, and they'll leave it in till you've hit that 10 or you've hit that 8.
And those extra 3 or 4 rounds can make the difference in the fight.
Yeah. Oh, for you, bud. Before we get to it, what does the future hold for you, mate? What do you see coming up?
Well, I got my man, the Big Ziz, fighting in New York. And then we see what's happening with Callum. And then Frank Martin. He's supposed to fight on the Clarissa Shields show, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, But right now, get my monkey ass to New York. That's what's in the future, my brother.
Run till that.
Now run till that.
What's your best say? Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out, damn it. It's just today we go. When we go to the airport, I said, no, you're going to call me an Uber at 6 in the morning. I don't give a fuck if my flight's at 2 p.m. Get me to the airport at 7. I know I'm closer to getting home, Jack.
Buddy, thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. Enjoy it.
Buzzing having you here, mate. Man. Thank you very much. Pleasure's all ours. Thank you.
Mundo. And the big beefhead. Me and Callum Smith.